more, lots more. Batavia down. Win more, lots more.
Folks, welcome. We hope you are having a wonderful Wednesday. We are coming to you live from Wing Wednesday here at, I believe, 1407 Niagara Street. Sports City Pizza Pub, pizza, wings, sports, and beer. Glad to be here for Wing Wednesday. And of course, it's not wrestling with your budget. It's not wrestling with your conscience. It is wrestling with emotion. We got kind of a special edition of the live show here. We have got, of course, the head of the table. We've got Mr. Michael J. Partham. We have got the Prophet Rob Ryan. And joining from the production studio and the production nook, we have the Boat.
What's up, y'all?
The Boat is a big wrestling enthusiast. He went to SmackDown when it was here in Buffalo, so you got to acknowledge the Boat. But we are going to acknowledge our panel here. How are we doing tonight, boys, as we head into a big AEW Dynamite and a big weekend, obviously?
All right, well, I'll go first because everyone was just waiting for the
Prophet. This is a big start for the Prophet.
Prophet has been taking a little break, kind of like Roman Reigns. I've earned my time off, and I'm ready. I'm back, and I got some.
But I'm afraid I've got some bad news
for dear old Partham, because the Prophet is back, and he is reclaiming his.
I'm the head of the table.
Oh.
Wow, what a play by the Prophet there. Obviously, Partham, your opportunity to respond here live on Wrestling with Emotion. How are we doing?
Exactly what are we reclaiming here? Because last time I checked, you haven't been winning. You haven't been around here to make picks. And I'm the only one that's making picks around
I'm the head of the table.
I'm the head of the table here, and don't you damn well forget it.
All righty, I can watch you two boys go at it all day. Speaking of which, shout out again, Don on the ones and twos. Obviously, here at Sports City Pizza Pub, we're going to give him boot him out, but he's still in the background, obviously helping us out. Boys, let's get right into it. Obviously, we have Dynamite tonight heading into All In. I think arguably, debatably, pretty fair to say the most important show in AEW history. And then obviously on WWE's end of things, we have Saturday Night Main Event, we have Evolution, and then of course, like you toss in the Great American Bash is kind of like a little Caesar salad for the whole mix.
Seasoning, like you said, the appetizer, but we're always hungry. And if you're a wrestling fan, this is your dream weekend. Obviously, not only the fact that you have competing companies with competing PLE pay-per-views, but they're accidentally staggered as well. And then Sunday, you cap it all off with Evolution, with our GOAT once again wrestling for a women's WWE championship. It's time to rock and roll, boys. What are we most excited for this weekend?
Well, hold on. Before we get what we're most excited for, because that is a whole different thing.
Sorry.
Right now, and head of the table, Michael J. Partham, we can start us off. What is your favorite storyline in all of wrestling, whether it be the E, whether it be EW? What's got cooking in your eyes right now?
Well, I'm going to shock you guys with this. At this very, very moment, my favorite storyline is the Death Riders. Not because of anything that they've done previously or how long it took us to get to this spot, but because it's finally going to come to some kind of conclusion. We don't know what kind of conclusion it might be. Maybe it won't even be a conclusion that we're all hoping for, but they're going to have to pull something at All In, because we've been going to pay-per-view by pay-per-view, and I've been trying to tell you, nope, it's not going to end with Copeland. It's not going to end with Samoa Joe. It's not going to end with Swerve Strickland. It's got to get to All In. Well, we're at All In, and something's got to go down for this to make sense at least. There's got to be a purpose to this. I don't know if it's Hangman Adam Page. I don't know if it's, Contestant A coming through the door, winning the Casino Gauntlet, and then cashing in like Money in the Bank. I don't know if it even works like that. But this has to have been going somewhere, and unless Moxley's going to hold on to it for a full calendar year, it's got a end game at All In. But how is that going to look? Are they going to make it WrestleMania 39 or WrestleMania 40? So
we've got Hangman Adam Page. We got Hangman Adam Page at Bet Online, Parthy. We got him at minus 250 currently. Do you think storyline wise that's where, or do you think outside of kayfabe that's how it should be? Like Adam Page should win this match. You must think he should win this match 100% of the time, right? Because it's essentially Christmas Eve on the Death Riders storyline, like you said.
I'm not so sure about that. I mean, if you can, since we're in our private chat citing the dirt sheets now a lot more, and it's not just me, I think we can buy into what some of them are saying. And what some of them were saying a few weeks ago was, well, Hangman was saying that Ospreay should win the Owen Hart tournament, and Ospreay was saying that Hangman should win the tournament. And now we get a tag match with Swerve and not Hangman, but Ospreay instead. And I think there would have been a lot more intrigue if it was Hangman and Swerve, the mortal enemies, reluctantly working together. And especially that year-long no championship match if they lose stipulation. That would have been a lot more intriguing if it was Hangman and Swerve, because here's a couple of guys that vowed to never let the other win the AEW championship, even if it cost themselves an opportunity to win it. So there would have been some intrigue going in, like, is this other guy going to screw me over just to spite me, even if it's going to spite himself too? With Swerve and Ospreay, you might get a little bit of that, but not as much as if it would have been Hangman.
So you're buying that dirt sheet report from 3 weeks ago that basically I'm just making sure, because sometimes Parthy says he cites a report and he's like, well, I was just talking about the report. I didn't really believe it. I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure. Are we?
Come on, stop the cap. Stop the cap. I'm playing.
No, don't report. Don't report.
Cap. Totally cap. That means lie.
Yep.
If there's one dirt sheet that I never buy into, it's Meltzer, and everybody knows that. Anybody with a brain doesn't buy into it.
Was Meltzer the one with that report?
Well,
I can't even remember.
No, it was not.
You cited him, and then after the fact,
if
I knew it was
no,
Meltzer.
I want to get on the record, and that's exactly why I want to get it on the record. So Parthy,
it wasn't
on
Meltzer.
the record,
It wasn't
on the record. Okay, but on the record, are you buying that dirt sheet report right now, or are you selling it?
I mean, we all thought it was Ospreay's tournament to win. So the fact that Hangman won was a shock in and of itself.
But don't you think that's kind of true for everything in Ospreay's run so far in AEW? Every time you expect him to have a big win, he puts somebody else over. He's just been on a put over tour.
People thought he was going to come right in and never lose and go skyrocket to the AEW World Championship. Here we are, a year and a half too.
Tony Khan went out and got a great asset for AEW on a full-time basis, and that asset has done nothing but put the entire company over the entire time. Exactly. I got to give credit. He's a workhorse,
and he's still young and has plenty of title reigns in his future.
Shout out BD Patron. Shout out Cesar V. Shout out Carly Smith on Instagram. But yeah, so we got the favorite storyline. With that said, so real quick before we go to Profit, Parthy, do you think he drops the title this Sunday? As of now, I know things can change.
I think he will.
Okay, I like it, Parthy. I like it.
Love it.
All right,
we'll
Rob.
get into exactly how this Friday, I believe.
Profit. What do you got? What's titillating you the most in the world of wrestling?
I'm gonna throw a curveball here, and I'm gonna go MJF.
Whoa!
I think he finally got his mojo back. I think there was that little span, obviously, before he got injured. He was obviously the top babyface. He was probably the top guy in wrestling at the time, besides obviously like a Roman and a Cody. And then he came back from injury, and I feel like he was kind of on a slow, not very interesting. He had that whole, whatever he was calling it, the US, whatever he was calling the international title back then. But I think ever since he started joining the Hurt Syndicate, I think he's really got his mojo back. He's started to become the asshole he was always supposed to be before he became a face. And now with this whole thing with Mystico and all that, I think he's really got his mojo. And he's at his best when he's just being an asshole. And that's what he is right now. And I'm excited to see where that takes him. Maybe he wins the Casino Royale and goes on for a championship. But I think he's finally got his mojo back, and I'm excited to see where he goes.
Intern left you up there.
Oh my God! I have
to fire. All right, Slick. What do you got for most important favorite storyline wrestling for you?
It's got to be the women's title picture.
Yeah,
going
damn
into
it.
All In. Timeless versus the CEO. The boss versus the Timeless one. All roads have been leading to this. The promotional snippets on either side, both of these women have been delivering. Obviously, they've been trying to highlight one in the ring and one kind of off to the side, lurking, observing. They got the smelling of the hair, the tasting of the cake. I think
intricates. I think Mercedes has got the better of the beatdowns
Yeah.
Tony has got the better of the interactions.
Tony has also gotten the better on the mic, I would
That's
believe.
what I'm saying.
Which is a little crazy because Mercedes, as our chat knows and loves when she gets on the mic,
They love
is
Mercedes
one
on
of
the mic.
best to ever do it
Mike Sadie
as a heel. But Tony, I mean, dude, I think you, Jake, and I were talking about this on TT on Monday. That video she dropped where she was talking to the little girl that will watch this and remember this as the greatest women's match of all time. I watched that, Maniac, and you know what happened? I went like this.
It was Aura. It was an Aura hit
Mana?
for sure.
The Mana was there, brother.
Oh, speaking of the
speaking of
opposite
Lana,
of
we
the
got
opposite
Lana
of
here
Lana.
now.
Oh my God!
Oh
this,
my God.
this
You fucking mark!
What's up, Mr. Ali? How are we doing?
Am I in? Hey.
You're in.
Yeah, you're in this bitch.
What's going on? I heard we're talking wrestling. It's been a while. I had to take a little bit of a hiatus. The feds, I have to admit, have been in a bit of a lapse.
2 Chains. Feds
Feds
watching.
are
The
watching.
Fed is
This
in
is
a
my
lapse
return.
from the mark.
Wow.
You got
We-
upstage profit.
we need the intern to clip that.
All right, Prophet. You
Save us, Paul. But with that said, Ali, right now, out of everything you are seeing, what's got you the most excited?
Well, future prospects. Obviously, anything Paul Heyman's touching is going to be absolute gold. But I do kind of love what they're doing with El Grande Americano. I know there's been a lot of controversy going on right now because of how allegedly
Because he's on
Kaiser.
performance
I don't know.
enhancers.
What was that?
El Grande Americano is on performance enhancing.
He's never
substances.
changed.
That's the only
He's
way
the
that
same guy the
someone
whole
would show
time.
up,
Have you
show up a week later and he's clearly like 4 inches tall.
Or have you seen those Instagram ads for the
Mate, you're delusional.
It's
like
the same
6
person.
They
Yeah.
had like 6 inches of height. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Ali, what do you
The
think about the
internet's
controversy
stupid.
there?
El Grande Americano being in WWE is like my favorite thing in the world, and so I just love that.
Yeah,
grab it.
amazing. El Grande Americano definitely pleasing the people. Chad Gable out with injury. Everyone didn't know it was going to happen, but
Shout
people
out the
just,
service here at Sports City Pizza
people just
Pub.
can't see through the bullshit. Like they're just not the same person.
Yeah, no,
Um,
they got to get it figured out.
guys
Obviously,
are
yeah, or there's one other thing they're doing. Seriously,
You
kids,
beat me
put it
to
down.
that.
Put it down, okay? But yeah, favorite storyline all of wrestling. I mean, I think you guys touched on it. I will say the bloodline is for the bloodline stock is at its lowest. It's like after Bitcoin goes nuts. Like, Bitcoin always has those rides up and then kind of teeters off a little bit. It's still higher than where it was, but it teetered off. Save us, Jacob. I think when it comes to that, what do we got? Oh, we got
yeah.
yeah. Save. Oh, okay. We got but seriously, save us, Jacob Fatu, not Jacob Micah. But yes, but that's not a bad one either. With that said, we have a huge weekend ahead. I don't know if the Mark can chime in for this one, but let's narrow it down to the 2 matches of the whole thing you are looking forward to most this weekend. And I'm going to kick this one off. I'm
Yeah,
not
go
letting you
ahead.
guys
Go
steal all
ahead.
my talking points this time. With that said, obviously it's the women's match main eventing. All in. I hope it's main eventing. Is it confirmed main eventing or is it going to be Death Riders Hangman?
Something tells me it's going to be the Texas Death Match in Texas.
I will say this right now. The only way that match can be the greatest match of all time is if Tony Storm wins.
Yeah, well-
and Mercedes
well-
Moné wants the greatest match of all time on a resume.
Just for perspective, when you say that, you mean greatest women's match, right?
No,
like-
greatest match.
Greatest match.
Yeah.
In AEW or greatest match?
AEW.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not. I
think that
haven't
has to
seen
happen in
every
that case.
match in WCW and
No,
WWF.
of course.
But
I
this
mean,
has
in
the potential.
WCW
This has the potential to be the greatest match in
No,
AEW.
I totally agree, but you're right. Tony has to win if that's going to be.
And,
the
and to be the case, she's got to beat Mercedes.
So what's your
Moné, for
other
sure.
match?
Oh, well, this is obvious. I mean, how could you not be excited this weekend after the buildup? How could you not be excited this weekend for Goldberg versus Gunther? Obviously, there's been a lot of buildup. Oh, Goldberg's going to get the best of him. I mean, oh, wow, he easily knocked out Gunther. Now, by the way, shout out Gunther for doing the job and collecting this paycheck, obviously. Mark my words. Mark.
Fucking Mark.
Goldberg is going to make 2014 Cena Lesnar look like a walk in the park on Gunther or on Goldberg. Gunther is going to destroy Goldberg. Gunther
so.
will literally obliterate Goldberg. Goldberg might get the random spear in. He might get one spear in. I'm saying that right now because even at 2014 SummerSlam, Cena got a AA on Lesnar. I think Lesnar kicked out at like 1.5 or something.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. So those are my two matches: Women's Championship at AEW, and obviously the World Heavyweight Championship on the WWE side. Slick, what do you got?
I'll kind of go a little flavor and pick one from each gender as well. On the WWE side,
Gender, each brand.
well, no,
Each
brand
gender.
and gender.
Okay, I like it.
On the WWE
Extra
side of
inclusive.
things, I got the female side of things because our GOAT is back. Less than a week after we talked to her, I'm not going to reveal whether we had the inside scoop or not. You guys could just figure that out for yourselves. But Trish was back on TV, invited at the courtesy of Tiffany Stratton. Shout out to producer Don getting the lighting going when the sun is setting behind Great Lakes Press Steel across the street. But yeah, great to see Trish back in action. Always a Hall of Famer. It's a pleasure whenever to be in her presence in a wrestling ring. And personally, I hope that title changes. I think Tiffany's overrated. But then on the AEW side of things, gonna love to see the Texas Death Match. Obviously, Maniac, but we've seen those before. I am really excited for the Young Bucks versus Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay.
Yeah, that should be biblical.
Business.
That's a match where you look at stealing the show. That's the one that
Prophet looks pissed. Did I steal it?
Yeah,
he stole it. Yeah, he stole it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give Prophet some time to rebound. Why don't we go to our head? Why don't we go to our Mark?
Yeah,
Because
let's go to the
we
Mark.
know where he's going to go with these favorite matches that he's looking forward to. What do you got, Mark?
Well, obviously, I agree with you, Maniac, that I think the Gunther Goldberg squash match is what I'm looking forward to the most. It has to be a squash. If it's not, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Gunther needs his aura back. Doesn't have it right now. He needs it back. And then, yes, I'm sorry, there's no AEW in this one. I'm excited for the Fatal 4-Way tag match on Evolution for the tag team titles, believe it or not. I mean, I guess, I don't know if that says something about the Evolution card or not, but I'm actually really excited to see what they do with that. We got the Kabuki Warriors back as well, so that should be exciting.
Seriously, that should be exciting. We are just under 1 hour until the go home AEW Dynamite to 2025 All In. Let's go to our head of the table, Michael J. Partham. Parthy, what are you looking forward to this weekend? The two matches you're looking forward to the most?
Well, just to comment on Gunther and Goldberg, you might think that you'd have to think that Gunther is having some certain conversations with a certain William Regal. Those of you who have looked up old WCW matches, go back and watch William Regal versus Goldberg and watch how blown up Goldberg gets from getting in the ring with an actual wrestler who's trying to take him to a match longer than 3 minutes. So Gunther's probably studying his tape in that regard. As far as matches I'm looking forward to, obviously I'm looking forward to Jon Moxley's Reign of Terror, and the Death Riders. I want to get this in. And the Boar Horsemen finally coming to an end.
Oh my god!
Not the Boar Horse.
Have you heard the alternate name for Paul Heyman and Seth's group, the Seth Riders?
Oh man, it's not bad. I mean, you got to add some validity to those.
Who is this guy?
Prophet? Sorry, go ahead.
All right.
I'm just saying, who the hell does this guy think he is?
What?
Anyway.
Anyway, I had my fun. Matches I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the AEW title concluding. But as far as match quality itself, I'm looking forward to Okada versus Omega because this is a legendary rivalry that we have yet to see on American soil, and I'd like to see it for myself. What the big deal is. As far as the WWE side, I'm actually looking forward to Io versus Rhea because I'm not sure where they're going to go with this at this point. I'd like to see Rhea with the title back. They might give Io a little bit of a longer run because she hasn't really had much of a title reign and many title defenses as it is. They didn't have much of a back and forth promo. That's probably because, Io's language is limited, but they had a nice little promo going there, which showcased Io and Rhea's history, as in Rhea in 3 or 4 tries can't seem to defeat Io. So it really seems like they're trying to hype it up to that they're going to pull the trigger and Rhea's finally going to not only beat Io but get her title back. Not to mention, I believe there is a Crown Jewel event in Australia coming up in maybe a month or two that they're probably going to want to have Rhea go in as champion. They're probably not going to want to keep the title off her for that long and have her go in and win the title there. They're probably going to want to have her go in as champion, just like she did Elimination Chamber in Perth, Australia a little while back.
Well said, head of the table. All right, round us out, Prophet. Everyone's been waiting. What are you looking forward to most this weekend?
All right. Well, first, I mean, that message. I just got to say, I'm Mr. SummerSlam. The Prophet is SummerSlam. But for this weekend, that's a few weekends away. We'll get to there when we get there. First, I'll start with WWE side. I'm excited for, I think, the best match on the Evolution card. Lyra versus Becky versus Bayley. I think this has been a feud that's been building, and I think it all culminates up to SummerSlam when Lyra gets her title back. But I think these three, I think Becky and Bayley are two of the best women in that company, and they're really building Lyra up into a star who she deserves to be. So I'm really excited to see where that one starts this weekend, where obviously, like I said, is going to finish over in SummerSlam when I think Lyra gets the title back. And for the AEW side, you guys have all taken all my ideas. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie when I say I'm excited for any other ones because they've all been said. So I'm just going to be a mark right now, and I'm going to go back to the WWE side. And I'm going to say I'm not excited for the match, but I think I'm excited for what happens either during or after for LA Knight. Yeah. For Seth freaking Rollins. I think there's only one way WWE tries to outshine AEW this weekend, and that's when the head of the table, the OTC, returns somehow this weekend during that match to build up for SummerSlam. Because, Roman Reigns has got to either be there or he's returning at SummerSlam like last year. But I think he's going to be in a match at SummerSlam. So I'm excited for that one because that's where I think Roman plays a factor.
So, and you think he comes back? It plays a factor with Seth.
Yeah, I think we get Seth versus Roman at SummerSlam.
Yeah, he's got and he's got to let the junior bloodline associations grow out a little bit. If he just comes back now and is like, your bloodline sucks, they're gonna get stopped because clearly he's way better.
And, do we have 3 bloodlines now?
Yeah. We're definitely in the NWO in the NWO Wolfpack era of the bloodline.
Also,
we're essentially in the fifth inning.
I don't think we mentioned it on the screen yet. Too. What is this? Tala Loa. What is this?
Talatonga.
Hey, JC Mateo.
You know what's funny?
JC Mateo. And now we have 3 Tongas. What are we building?
But you know what's funny is that Tonga. You know what I saw that was pretty funny this week? Tonga Loa. He can't even spell his name right. Tonga's supposed to be his last name, and it's his first name. That guy can't do anything right.
I think it's Tanga instead of Tonga when it's his first name.
I saw this one meme that was so funny. It was like Hornswoggle's gonna join the group and it'll be Tonga not Tala or something like they're like.
Well,
not
I'll tell you what.
Tonga.
I'll tell you who's joining this group right now. The voice of reason, Ernie Green.
Oh, no
way!
Is.
Cheers, Ernie.
What up, everybody?
Hey.
Ernie, we're just talking about real quick. We're wrapping up our 2 matches we're looking forward to most this weekend. So we were just talking about the OTC potentially returning to set up a Rollins SummerSlam angle. What are you most fired up for this weekend? Obviously, is this Ernie? I was talking to Slick earlier this week. Does this weekend give WrestleMania weekend kind of a run for its money?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean,
I'll take it.
No, I don't know how else to say it, but no.
Very confident.
It's a great weekend of wrestling. Don't get me wrong, but this would be asking if a week 15 NFL doubleheader with the Bills Chiefs and on one end and the Ravens versus the Eagles on the other end is as big as the Super Bowl. It's a big weekend. It's a big weekend for the NFL, but no, it's not as big as the Super Bowl, if that makes any sense.
So basically, I'm RG3 saying that the MVP will be decided on Netflix on Christmas Day.
Yeah, we all know how that went.
There is not a single person that has ever graced this chat room who is as stupid as RG3. How's that?
Well said. Well said. Well, listen, there's been a lot of smart build-up, not necessary for Evolution, but what are you most excited for this upcoming weekend?
Honestly, the one match I think is going to be very, very good, which is on Evolution, not through the fault of them, is going to be the triple threat between Lyra and Becky and Bayley. I think that's going to be a great match. It's one of those rare triple threats where all 3 have reasons to hate each other. It's not like a 2-on-1 triple threat where like maybe two are gonna gang up, and I hate those. That's just stupid. This is like all three have legitimate beef with each other, and I like that. That's a good like triple threat. How can you not be excited about Okada versus Omega? I don't care when I don't care when and where they have that match. I'm there.
You're watching, yeah. Okay, what the fuck do you mean? Oh,
I'm kidding.
Kenny,
I'm kidding.
My God, Omega.
I'm trolling. I'm trolling.
The two of the best to ever do it in the Tokyo Dome. I know you're trolling. I just.
But what
No,
Ernie
for
said though
for sure.
about that triple threat, I was noticing heel tendencies from like all three of them on Raw on Monday, and I was wondering because I thought Lyra was totally going to be pushed off as like a face, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Well,
she's
no,
just
but
pissed
I
I
feel
was,
like they
she
were
was
giving-
not
She's just
being
pissed off.
likable. I like Lyra, but she was not being likable.
No,
on
I
Monday.
agree with the heel tendencies on each end. I feel like they're trying to get everyone to pick and choose of the three, which obviously it's the great move, but get everyone to take a side. And all of them had their grudges, so I thought that was interesting. I would find it really awesome if this is a big spot for Lyra, for them to elevate her and make her a real superstar. Because as they say, Maniac, superstars make stars into superstars.
That is what they say. And how poetic would it be to have the four horsewomen all putting someone over? Obviously, you have Mercedes putting someone over. You have
So
them
true.
two putting over, and then you have Charlotte Flair putting Ashley Flair over. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
Super
I
exciting.
mean, what a weekend that would be.
Yeah.
How
You
far
mean
we had come
soon
since
to
the
be
original evolution.
Tag
Yes.
team champion Charlotte Flair putting no one over.
Soon to be. With that said, we are getting into our loathsome area of the show. We just passed the halfway point of the year. I threw this in the rundown. Worst wrestling segment or storyline from first half of 2025. I have to go with two things that the E did, that the Fed did, that I thought were just unacceptable. And this is the first one is going to be, you're going to be like, what, Maniac? That was the best. Was when John Cena punted Cody Rhodes in the penis and turned heel for The Rock.
Sacrilege.
It was
to say that.
good. Yeah, it was great. It was great when it happened. And you know what also was great when it
I know
happened?
where you're
When
going
Mark
with this.
Henry, World's Strongest, slammed John Cena
where
in the
you're going
pink
with
salmon
this.
suit. It was a great moment when it happened, but the build up from it was nothing. The build up from it was worthless.
Well,
so
and then
I
after we
was
got
like
no
10 years
explanation.
old.
zero
Hall of Fame
explanation.
was
They've
kinda
he's
badass.
never mentioned The Rock once. There's no there's no anything. It's just all booty. But the only thing more booty than that is the situation with R-Truth and how that happened, honestly, in my opinion. And now we're stuck with like Ron Killings with a shaved head. Like that, truthfully, nobody wanted to see, in my opinion.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
But you're kind of right on the moments thing. When he cut those dreads, I literally lost my mind.
They were both great moments. They were both
way.
great moments, and then they got spoiled by how it like happened. Essentially, how it transpired.
I still like Cena's reign. You haven't I mean, it's not incredible by any means, but I think it's pretty good.
Are you gonna be supporting the GOAT at SummerSlam?
Always.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Ali, I totally agree with you. It's not been like most thrilling, but when you break it down as to what he's been trying to do and ruin wrestling and be basically the
funniest thing he did was at Fanatics Fest. By far, his funniest appearance just coincidentally was at an event we were at.
Fanatics Fest. Basically, he was trying to ruin everything he did. The 3-point contest, he was just bricking everything, every shot he took. Even the SummerSlam kickoff, he was ruining kayfabe in all of our faces and Michael Cole's. But I will say, to keep back on topic, worst segment for me in all of 2025. I can't pick a storyline necessarily because even if I had to even get into the R-Truth, like Triple H tells us that's a storyline. We all know the damn
that
truth
wasn't
there.
a story.
We all know the truth.
Yes.
There. But the worst segment for me, first half 2025, we've all been talking about this lately, kind of where lines blur kayfabe and reality. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. I mean, talk
that
about
segment was a train wreck. Yeah.
cringeworthy. Oh my goodness. I don't even know if we can say Tiffany won, but if you say that, it's just because Charlotte lost.
So
They were
speaking of
both
loss,
spitting absolute gibberish that made you go, ugh.
Speaking of lost, people say that Kaiser hasn't returned to TV because he's lost in
Well, that's
Charlotte's
why
DMs right now.
that's why he's got a mascot. You know what
Seriously.
oh, did I say that?
What
Yeah.
mask are you talking about?
I don't
What are
know,
you
no,
talking
no,
about?
no,
You're
no, no,
delusional.
No. Cut that clip. Cut that clip.
All right, Parthy,
That's
you
it
got
for
it.
me.
You got anything?
Yeah, you got to cut that out of YouTube when we put it up. Yeah, I was gonna say Tiffany Charlotte, as entertaining as the train wreck was to watch, in retrospect, it was pretty much a whole mess. And seeing Charlotte getting overwhelmed by the crowd, and basically saying, "Screw it, Tiffy, why don't you talk?" And then she regretted that about a minute later. But as far as storylines go, I mean, I could say the Death Riders, but that's been done to death. Not ironically. As far as an AEW thing that I think we wish wouldn't have happened, or probably even forgot that happened. Remember when Jeff Jarrett was trying to become AEW World Champion, and he was basically feuding with MJF, and then it concluded with nothing, not even a match between those two. Jeff Jarrett just went off TV and he gave up on his dream.
But in kayfabe, it kind of played out like it should. Like he wanted one last run, and he was going to qualify to the tournament, and he just lost in the tournament, didn't he?
I think, yeah, like the first round.
Yeah, like again, in kayfabe, it's kind of how it should have happened, right?
I guess, but I mean, it was just such a nothing, and it was just dropped so relatively quickly. Didn't even have a match between MJF and Jeff Jarrett.
That's fair. I wish my internet father, Jeff Jarrett, by the way, who is my documented internet dad, had gotten a title shot. That would have been cool. Yeah. Okay. Prophet, what do you got?
So the storyline and part of the segments for the storyline were really good, but I just can't get over the ending, how bad it was and how overcrowded it was. For just recent Cena and Punk's ending of that match, I think the storyline was probably one of the better ones of the first half, throwing it back to old segments between those two with obviously Thugonomics and the pipe bomb. But I think the match itself, although throwing seeds at an eventual Cena turn, probably at SummerSlam, I think that there was just too many things going on that didn't need to be going on. And I think that ruined the whole previous of it. So I'm going to go with the ending of Cena Punk at Night of Champions.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's fair. Those two deserved a classic ending. By the way, honorable mention to Travis Scott and his 4.5-minute entrance at WrestleMania.
I love that.
To get John Cena disqualified in his match against, that was crazy. All right, Mark, what do we got? I know you're probably, what on AEW are you targeting? Do you have any good? Do you have anything good?
Worst thing in wrestling. Well, I'd say every Wednesday night for the last 104 weeks or so could fit into that category. No, but in all seriousness, I think the SmackDown tag team division has got built up so well. But then there's guys like Los Garzas who now finally are doing stuff in AAA, who just were doing nothing for about 3 months. And same with Pretty Deadly. I like tag team wrestling. I picked the women's tag match for Evolution, and it's just upsetting to see them drop the ball on some of these tag teams. Definitely R-Truth. I mean, you guys stole a lot of the good ones, so I'm kind of grasping at straws here. But Los Garzas was one that I was kind of excited for. I mean, same with Santos, just generally. When Santos originally turned on Ray, this is now going before first half of the year, they dropped the ball on him too. So I don't know what was going on with I don't even know the name of their faction, something Phantasma. That's bad, right? There was some exciting
Phantasma, something like that.
Elgato's what you use for Twitch. But
Damn it,
yeah, Legado del Phantasma, I think is what it is. But I didn't want to get
Legado del Phantasma. Yeah, I used the Elgato switch for him for sure.
Yeah. But they had some potential, and it just same with Pretty Deadly. They had some potential. They dropped the ball on the tag teams.
All right, let's cue it up for our voice of reason here. Ernie, why don't you give us your least favorite segment or storyline from first half, and then let's kick it back around the panel here to wrap it up. Your favorite thing so far in wrestling so far in 2025, and why don't you give us both if you can, Ernie? Worst and then favorite thing in wrestling so far this year of 2025.
Well, the two worst things you guys have already pretty much discussed, like Travis Scott, which was a debacle. Cena could have turned heel without The Rock and done everything that he's been doing now without The Rock. It's made no sense. So those two you guys have already discussed at length. My biggest beef is with Michael Cole, who's had this ridiculous vendetta against El Grande Americano from the beginning. First, he tried to falsely accuse Chad Gable of being El Grande Americano. Now that Chad Gable's out, El Grande Americano's still there. Now he's trying to falsely accuse other people. Like El Grande Americano, I'll tell you who he is. He's El Grande Americano. Oh, he's taller, he's shorter. He looked taller because he was standing next to Ivy Nile, who's like 4'2". That's why he looked taller. There's different camera angles. There's different HD feeds that are going to make people look taller and shorter and whatnot. His false accusations against El Grande Americano
False
are no
accusations.
in my opinion, are
It's
no
so
way-
disrespectful.
They're
No
muy
disrespect.
stupido, okay? In my opinion, okay? No me gusta.
He's literally like one of the greatest of all time. Next thing you know, Ernie, you're going to start getting accused to be El Grande Americano at this rate.
When I think of El Grande Americano, this is what I think of.
No,
They call this cinema.
real quick before we go to Mark. Or wait, Mark, have we gotten a Kevin Owens assessment of El Grande Americano? I think that's what we really need.
Oh, dude,
He
that
thinks
would
it's
be
Elias.
awesome.
Absolutely.
So you mean Elijah, you bastard?
I think
He
my
literally
favorite-
said at whatever that thing was in New York. I think were you guys there? He said it was Elias.
Oh, I didn't see that. Didn't see that segment. But
do you want my
appreciate.
favorite now, Maniac?
Oh yeah, sorry. I thought that was your favorite. How everyone was
No,
being
that's
mean
my least
to
favorite.
El
Michael
Grande.
Cole being a
Yes.
minister of propaganda. It's nonsense.
Yeah. Get us
My
your favorite. Get us going in the
favorite-
positive direction.
Yeah. My favorite is the emergence of Karrion Cross. I was talking
give
to
me
an
Oh.
a fucking break. Are
What-
you?
but
All right,
you know,
you have to go head to head with Slick now, I guess.
but the emergence of so there's a wrestler I'm Parson probably remembers, maybe not other people, but there was a wrestler named Sean O'Hare who had a similar gimmick in like the early 2000s with Roddy Piper, and his gimmick just went too far over people's heads and he completely fizzled out. And I think Cross's gimmick was going over people's heads until he realized I need to adjust it a little bit, because the majority of wrestling fans, let's be honest, are stupid. They're the people that bring get well Hornswoggle signs to wrestling shows. They're idiots. So he's toned it down a little bit and he's gotten a lot over. And I just like the fact that he's a heel and he's right. Like he's not like I consider him a babyface because he says nothing. Like he throws like our
Yeah, he's not
bias.
evil. Yeah.
You know, in our like good people who follow good guy wrestlers and like them are mostly hypocrites because they look past all the good guys like flaws and the way they cheat and whatnot. And Cross is throwing it back in everyone's face, and he's absolutely brilliant in how he's doing it. So I think the emergence, the fact that they're actually letting him be a worthwhile character, is probably my favorite thing going on that we haven't discussed yet.
All right, what do you got, Mark?
I'm about to live up to the name. John Cena being back, period. John Cena being back regularly is my favorite thing all year. I love John Cena. I have more John Cena shirts than I have fingers, okay? I love Cena. We went to SummerSlam as an army of Cenas,
We did.
and I am Marky Markington after all. So
You are Marky Mark.
who better than for me to follow than the king of the marks, John Cena?
Who run it, indeed. I like that. Thank you very much, Mark, for living up to your name, and that we can't blame you. What do you got? What do you got, Prophet?
I think my favorite thing in WWE this year was obviously during the Punk Roman Seth matchup. I think the whole Paul Heyman turn. I think it was all expected that with how that whole thing was building, with obviously the favor that Heyman owed Punk, and the whole thing about how there was rumors about Heyman and Roman not respecting Heyman and leaving him all out to dry with the new bloodline. I think the whole turn of Heyman and everything that has culminated since with whatever they're calling that faction, we're like on month 4 and we still don't have a name for it. But I think that whole thing with how the turn happened, obviously they they obviously had a throwback with the chair shot. And I think that was just really well done. And I think that's my favorite thing of this year so far.
All right, All right, head of the table, Michael J. Partham. What do you got for us?
As Rob said, I don't think CM Punk versus John Cena culminated the way we would have liked it to. But the lead up to it had a lot of great promos, and of course the back and forth with the pipe bomb and the word life parody. I think that was some of the best TV that we've gotten out of John Cena in his whole run. So I'm going to pick that because CM Punk brings out the best in people, whether you want to admit it or not.
All right,
One thing I do
Parthy.
want to add real quick. We're talking about Cena a lot. I think my favorite thing of the year is going to be this build up to SummerSlam with Cena and Cody, because I do think they swap at SummerSlam and Cody finally becomes a heel in WWE again, and we finally get the farewell tour that we all wanted Cena to have as a face, culminating all the way up until his final match in Boston in December.
Oh no, we got Camrad.
You really think they're going to turn Cody now when he's one of like the top 5 merch sellers?
I think they've been.
Yeah, I think
they've been
I'm
foreshadowing
with Rob. There's going to be a double turn at the SummerSlam. I agree.
I don't know. I mean, it got to a point in AEW, of course, where they could have easily turned Cody and he just refused to. But we haven't even gotten the crowd souring on Cody. They're really more cheering John Cena than they're booing Cody, and it was because it was all the Cena marks like Ali buying tickets to WrestleMania, anticipating John Cena's last WrestleMania match, and even in spite of him aligning with The Rock, kicking John Cena in the dick, they still wanted to cheer him regardless because they're all fucking marks. So it wasn't so much that people are souring on Cody; they're just cheering John Cena regardless of what he says or does on his final farewell tour. The last time he gets to grace all these towns and cities and
we're working through some video issues here live at Sports City. But with that said, I can't believe you just called Ali a mark for that. I mean, everyone's been cheering.
You've all been calling him a mark. He called
years.
himself a Cena mark for crying out loud.
No, he's a wrestling fan. You don't just call him a mark. That's not, that's absolutely not appropriate. That's not what we do on the show. You know what I would say if I was you?
Gentlemen, my bad.
Speaking of that guy, what happened to Ron Killings? I want Ron Killings back.
He's feuding with Aleister Black.
Yeah, but it's R-Truth again.
It's all good.
We're R-Truth, but he's not acting like R-Truth, at least not right now.
Folks, the truth is we are just about 1/2 hour away from the Go Home Dynamite to the show of the year for all AEW, All In Texas, or as I'm calling it, Y'all In. So welcome back here at Sports City. A huge shout out again to our sponsor, Batavia Downs. Rocking the Downs is happening all summer. It starts this Friday with Almost Queen. What do you got?
I'm just gonna get my favorite part of.
Oh, you got to go in. I wanted to give. I wanted to give the promo before we were done all the way.
Of course, you got to do the spot.
Yeah,
and then we're gonna kick it over to Don real quick. Producer Don actually has this
a big spot
that we're waiting on. Mine though is the whole trials and tribulations of MJF joining the Hurt Syndicate and forming the most dominant faction in all of wrestling right now. We hurt people. We hurt people. We hurt people. Yeah, it's just been great TV. Obviously, you need 3 thumbs up before anything really happens in this business of wrestling. And once we got it, business.
Do you think that could be the new 4 horsemen? Because MJF needed 3 thumbs up, and then he was the guy that joined. That's interesting.
The pillars.
You got to think. You got to really think that could be a new one. All right.
Get replaced
with that said,
Britt Baker.
With that said, let's go to an exclusive from the boat. What are you looking for? What was your favorite part of wrestling?
All right, so you guys got to watch my 6, okay?
I got you.
Just so make sure. Oh, we got a nice little natural lens flare going on here.
Big time.
But fiance's not behind me. She's not coming in any minute.
Nope.
I'm good. All right, I can be honest. Any moment with Liv Morgan, baby. She is my girl. Let's go, Liv Morgan. And that's all I got to say. Keep it short and simple.
Thank you, Boat.
As Liv Morgan looks up
to
short.
Does Boat have his
like
own
Sabrina
Liv Morgan
Carpenter.
vigil at his place that he keeps, hid away from his wife?
I don't
go there.
I don't believe so, but you can clearly tell the Boat's a big Liv Morgan guy.
No vigil, but I can say I know they've watched together, and she does get jealous.
I'll say anytime I'm like, hey, there's my girl, she leaves the room or things get domestic violence. That's
Whoa!
Oh my
Things-
God.
Yeah, things
What?
get heated.
Turns
Yeah.
into
Like,
WWE
yeah.
in there.
No.
That's why
Oh,
I'm saying watch my
Like
six,
she
guys.
pile
Watch
drives you?
my
Well, we're,
six.
we're not
That's all I
talking
gotta
about the
say.
hangman page on women type of domestic
No,
violence here, right?
My-
to clarify, we're worried
No.
about the boat getting
No.
violence
Yeah,
done.
no,
Yes.
no,
I'm a
no, we're
peaceful
worried about
man.
we're
It's
worried
the
about the
reverse.
boat catching
It's
a
the
tube.
In case that got lost in translation, we are worried about the boat in all this.
We're
With
worried
that
about
said,
the boat getting a
this ship never
tombstone
sinks.
off
This
Niagara
train
Street.
never stops here on Wrestling with Emotion. Huge shout out to the voice of reason, Ernie Green. Huge shout out to the Mark. Huge shout out to Prophet Rob Ryan, the head of the table, Michael J. Bartham, myself, and Slick here at Sports City Pizza Pub. Any final thoughts, gentlemen, on Wrestling with Emotion here?
Let's
I
have a
wanna
hell of a
co-
weekend.
I want
Yeah.
to comment on the entire weekend and the odd placement of how many matches are in
yeah,
each
look
card.
at,
Because
speaking of the devil,
no,
got,
you got
Literally,
it all
this is-
in.
this is why we-
get
Go
over here.
right and
over here,
give
over
him give him a
What's going
punch.
on over
Give him a
there?
punch. Give him a punch. Yeah. Give Donald a punch. Yeah.
The subject of giving.
This is why.
Don
This is
a
why we.
pile
This is
driver
why we
just
told.
around-
Oh. Look at all's well that ends
All
well.
is well,
That's my
guys.
favorite
Oh,
storyline.
but yeah, me too. Oh, you love to see that. Sorry, Partham. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's currently 8 matches announced for All In. Obviously, there's probably going to be 1 or 2 last minute for the 0 hour, but only 8 matches for like the biggest show of the year when they've usually had like up to 10 or 12 on a regular pay-per-view. And then and on top, counterpoint to that, you got 3 matches, just 1, 2, 3 announced for Saturday night's main event. And for an Evolution show that's supposedly just thrown in there, you've got 7 matches for that one. When the
Crazy.
average WWE PLE is around 4 or 5 these days.
How many matches we got for Saturday night's main event? Still 3?
3.
I think 4.
No, I thought there's
Four.
4.
No, there's 3 that are announced.
Okay. Or so
Luther
wait, Mark,
Goldberg,
Mark,
Elliot
they
Seth,
better,
and
Mark, they
Randy
better
Drew.
one, Mark.
How many, Mark? 3, 4. Open my door.
Oh, jeez. The
Oh,
mark
geez.
is done.
What
Bye,
about-
Mark.
what
All right. With that said, everyone
Hey,
have
I
a.
have one last thing to
Yeah.
say. Trainwreck Sports is ready to go all in.
We are ready to go all in, and we are also going to SummerSlam. Breaking news, mofos. With that said, this is not the show about
3 in a
wrestling with your
row.
conscience. This is not the show about wrestling with your budget. This is wrestling with emotion. Scissor me, Slick.
Scissor me.
Arriba!